Guys, Ritesh here, and in this particular video, I will take one more important technique in machine learning, which helps us in improving our model and cleaning our data and preparing the particular data for training in a much proper and robust manner. So, this problem is missing values. Missing values. What happens is while collecting data, it may happen that for some of the fields we don't have that data there. So while training, we don't send incomplete data to the model because that will hamper the performance of the model. So we have to complete. Suppose, for example, we have this particular data and we have this feature 1, we have this feature 2 here, we have this feature 3 here, we have this feature 4, we have this feature 5. And suppose in some particular row this value is missing, suppose in particular row this value is missing or this value is missing, then we have to come up with some ways in order to fill this particular places with some value which will mimic or which will be very close to the real value, or we will have to remove these rows. If the number of rows which have missing values is very less, or suppose this there are only 1% of the data points where the values are missing, then it is very easier, you can remove those rows. But if the number of rows where these values are missing is very large, suppose this is 10% or 20% of the data points where these values are missing, then these are significant number of data points and we cannot remove them. Okay, so generally one or two fields are only missing in most of the cases. So now we will see the techniques which will help us in filling these missing values. So there are three techniques. The one is imputation. The second one is adding new adding new features or new missing value missing adding new missing features. Okay, and the third technique is model based technique. Model based technique. So we will start with imputation. So what happens in imputation is, suppose we have this particular data set and we have features. Okay, f1, f2, f3 and so on fn. And suppose for this particular f2 feature we have this one, this but for this particular row f2 is missing, for this particular row f3 is missing. So now how to fill this particular place? To fill this particular place, what we will do is, except this row we will take all the row and the value of this f2, the value of this f2. Now we can take mean of all those values and we can replace this particular empty field, or we can fill that mean here. So we can take mean of all those values in f2 for all the data points and we can replace this particular empty space with mean, or we can take median also and we can take mode also, it depends, and we can check which one is having the best impact on our data. Now this was for regression problem. Regression is where we don't have to classify the points, we have to predict a real value. Now suppose the problem is a classification based problem, then what we will do is, suppose this point belongs to class 1, because at training time we will be having the yi of this particular row. If this row is having, or if this row is belonging to class 1, then we will do the same thing only for the points that belongs to class 1. Let me make it more clear. What we will do is, suppose if this yi equals to 1 and this belongs to class 1, then we will take all the rows that are belonging to class 1 and we will take f2 of those points that belongs to class 1, and we will take the mean, median or mode of the points belonging to class 1 for f2 feature, and then we can replace it. We can do same for all the classes where the features are missing. So this is imputation based technique. Now what we will see is, we will see adding new missing features. So in adding new missing features is, first we will follow imputation. Okay, first we will follow imputation. Once imputation has been done, then our features are complete now. Suppose we had n features, so f1 till fn, all features are complete now. Now suppose in our previous problem f2 was missing, f2 was missing for this particular row, then we will have one more feature, that is f2 dash, and in f2 dash for every other place we will place 0, and for this particular row we will place 1, just to indicate that this particular feature was missing for this particular row, and for rest of the rows this feature was present. So this is how we will do adding new feature. This is how we will add new feature, which will store the information of which are the features that was missing and for which rows it was missing. So this is another technique, and now we will move to the third technique. This is model based technique. This is model based technique. Now what we will do here is, now just see what we will do here. Suppose we have this data set, and this is f1, this is f2, this is f3, and this will go to fn. And suppose for some of the data f3 is missing, for some of the data f2 is missing. So what we will do is, suppose f2 is missing and f3 is missing, so we will not take these two data first. Okay, we will not take these two data. What we will do is, we will take uh, just for the simplicity, let us assume that only f3 is missing for now. For now only f3 is missing. Now first we will separate the data points based on the fact that which are the data points where f3 is missing and which are the data points where f3 is not missing, and we will not use yi here while training. So what we will do is, now we will separate the data. So we separated the data. Now these are the data points where f3 is not missing, okay, and these are the data points where f3 is missing, okay. Now how to use the model? We will take all the features in our training set except f3, and what we will do is, now our x train or our training set will become f1 till fn, but this will not contain f3. F3 is not present here. Our yi will become f3. Now what is our yi? F3 is our yi. Now we will train our model on this. Now since this particular data have missing f3, because in this particular data f3 is missing. Now once our model is trained on this one, on which data? The data where f3 was present, we can use the model to predict f3 for these points. Now what we will do is, we will pass these data points one by one to this model, and this will predict f3 dash for these particular data, and then we can place f3 in its respective place. Suppose this was missing here, so here we will place f3. How? We will give this particular data point without f3 to this particular model, and this will predict f3 and we will place that value here. So this is how we will use our models to predict the missing values. Now this can only be done for those models which works for regression. Suppose knn works for regression, linear regression works for, this is not logistic, this is linear regression. XGBoost can be done, decision trees can be done. So those models which works for regression problems, that can be used here, because we cannot use logistic regression here, because that is only for classification problem. That is simple logic. So I think I have made it very clear how to handle missing values in our data. So after doing this, you can easily handle missing values. So I hope I have made my point very clear, and if you like my videos, then please consider subscribing to my channel, because I will be uploading 10 to 12 videos on every topic. Every week I will be introducing you to the new topic, and I will make in-depth videos on each topic. So please do consider subscribing my channel if you like the videos that I am making, and thanks for watching my videos. I will see you in the next video.